right, welcome to another episode of Play It Up podcast. This is episode 5, and today is all about fighting games. And with me is John McIntyre. Give us a hello.
G'day, mate.
Hey,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem, not a problem. We have Peter High, and we have Buzz Clinton. Well, that's not your. I just read what's here, but it's Buzz. More so is your nickname, isn't it? But Clinton is your real name.
We'll get into that later, mate. If you want to know, we'll get into that later.
Ooh. Into the.
Before we kick off with that.
Well, I'll just say we've got Mike Coolican, and then yes, let's kick off.
Hello, everyone.
Everyone knows Mike. Everyone knows Mike. He's a superstar, man.
In Brisbane, everyone knows Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Of course, everyone.
The coffee man.
Of course, everyone knows Mike. Everyone's waiting for their 1 litre of dark matter.
Yeah, well, Mike.
And,
shameless plug to my 10 listeners. If anyone wants some nice coffee, hit up Subculture Cafe, right?
It's just me.
Oh, don't do it. It's an absolute addiction.
Or hit up Mike Coolican on Facebook, and he's peddling out some good coffee, good cold drip extract.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Peddling out the goods.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Let's go through what we're all drinking, and then we'll get into Buzz's name. What do you reckon? Go Buzz, yeah.
Got the Coopers.
Oh yeah,
Cooper's Red. That's a fresh
Nice.
one, not one from this morning by any chance. So it's all good.
You wouldn't have been drinking at 9 a.m., would you?
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, not at all, mate. Only on tournament days. Actually, but before we get into it, I think we should all know that when you address John, it has to be John McIntyre, or else he won't answer.
Okay. I'm sure there's a backstory there, but I'll stick to it.
It's a very piss poor backstory, and it's something that Buzz keeps telling everybody.
No worries,
It's fixed.
John McIntyre. Excellent stuff, John McIntyre.
Oh God, everyone's gonna hate my name by the end of this.
Yeah.
And I'm officially drinking a double shot, dark and stormy. Compliments of Sailor Jerry, spiced rum, bit of lime, and Bundaberg ginger beer.
Delicious.
Oh, nice.
That sounds like way better than probably what we're all drinking. Actually, no, I got a good White Lies mead from Netherworld. So it's made with honey, apparently. It looks red for people that won't be watching this on YouTube. And it's 7.2%. So 2.8 standards in a can.
That's right up my alley. Lovely.
Getting the party started.
Yeah, so in about 20 minutes, shirts will be off, I'd say.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, yeah, my new Netherworld Death by Pinball shirt.
Just saw that.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I love it. So cool. What are you on there, Peter? What's your beverage of choice today?
I've got
Gatorade.
Heineken.
007 Heineken today.
Oh, 007 Heineken.
Yeah, James Bond version.
Nice.
Yeah.
Delicious.
You sure that's not water in that bottle, Pete? Or I'll Pete on the waters. Yeah.
Is that what Peter does on tournament days? Got to stay focused.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
That's why he's got that big trophy, probably.
Yeah. Big
Sales tip there, guys.
For the listeners that can't see it, Peter's got a nice big trophy that he won in the comp we had in Brisbane here called, was it Ultimate Punch? And that was over 3 different fighting games, wasn't it?
Yes.
So
And
Street
what I'll
Fighter
quickly
2.
do,
Yep.
seeing as you've mentioned that, I'm just going to very briefly move my webcam so you can actually see the poster that Netherworld did for that.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, nice.
So you won't be able to see it too great, but what you can see up there is the Ultimate Punch poster, which
very
has
cool.
Raiden in the middle and Roy Yu on the other side for Street Fighter. And what's her name? Is it Mai from Samurai?
Nakuru.
Oh,
Nakuru.
Nakuru. That's the one from Samurai Showdown.
Oh, cool.
Was that the poster that you ripped out of the shitters in Netherworld, mate? Or?
That's where most of them come from, I think. They're great at Netherworld with the posters. Like if you ask them on the day of the event or after it's finished, they're pretty good. They'll let you take them because they.
Yeah, but where's the thrill? Where's the thrill?
Oh yeah, you might as well
want to steal them.
Yes, you want to pretend that they're not nice people and just steal and put them under your shirt and run out.
I remember after the BPAC 2019 MK2 tournament, like they had posters for sale, but then behind the cabinet they were just plastered there, and everyone was just like ripping them off the fucking wall, just like animals, like scratching at the wall, taking them, man. Afterwards, getting Steve Ritchie to sign them. It was an absolute mess.
I was one of those rats.
Yeah,
you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What are you drinking there, Mike?
Yep, just the old cold drip coffee extract that I've been making. And
so Mike's on the cold drip extract?
Yeah.
With, what did you mix it with?
Yeah, so 1/3 cold drip extract and 2/3 just regular milk and then a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten it. That's it.
Love the detail. Nice.
Caffeine's my mind. It's strong shit.
Awesome. Yeah, all right, Buzz. Well, can you run us through why you're called Buzz?
Oh, shit. Oh, back to that, eh? I guess it's actually have any of you boys ever seen the old show Forensic Files?
Ooh, possibly. Not sure though.
It was like a late 90s, early 2000s like forensic show on Foxtel, and there was one episode me and Chantel, my partner, we were watching. And then the episode was about a dead male stripper, and his name was Buzz Clinton. And then
that's so much better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's either so much better or so much worse. But then at that time, we were like having this little feud where we're like changing each other's Facebook names, and then she changed mine, and I could never change it back. So then it just stuck.
So that's why you're called Buzz.
That's it, man.
Oh, that's so good, man. You're named after a dead stripper from like a obscure forensic show.
A fictional dead male stripper.
No, it's real, man. It was real. It's real. Look
okay. Oh, right.
Oh, I now feel a little bit worse for laughing.
Yeah.
That's all good, man.
Somewhere out there is actually a real dead Buzz Clinton who just tried to show his flesh for a bit of cash.
Yeah.
Google it up, and you'll just see like pictures of like this dude just wearing a fucking bow tie. Yeah.
Oh man, you should have worn a bow tie for the podcast. It would have been a homage to the real Buzz Clinton.
But yeah, that's the story. So yeah,
dude, that's great. I'm so glad that I got to tell the world this on the podcast.
Yeah, it actually feels like a real weight lifted off my chest. I never wanted to say it, eh? Like, yeah, good.
Now we know, man. That's all. You're a new man.
Yeah. I've learned something today. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, no one's ever asked.
No. And actually, Buzz, while we're on the topic of names, can you actually remind me and everyone else, please, why it became a thing that my last name has to be included?
I don't know, man. I think it was to do with Kerry's Bundy Bash Mortal Kombat 11 launch party.
Okay.
And I don't know. It was like, I think for some reason you typed a message and I don't know.
Oh, hang on. I do now have a vague recollection of playing.
But you referred to yourself as John McIntyre in one message, and that was it.
Yeah,
that's all.
That was it. I think I said something along the lines of "It's not a good day for John McIntyre."
Yes, that was it.
And that's all
actually,
it took.
That's how.
Yeah.
No, you just sparked my memory. It was from Netherworld Arcade's first Mortal Kombat 2 tournament. On Twitch when they filmed it, and you're literally like, "Oh, it's not a good day for John McIntyre."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I got a question that I'll just sort of run by everyone, and we can all jump in or whatever. I'll start with John, just because he's on the top left on my screen. What is your first experience with fighting games? if you remember, or thereabouts?
Ooh, my first experience with a fighting game would be, that is going back a ways. Now, if we're talking, like say arcade, like a real arcade fighting game.
Yeah.
I do have very strong memories when I was quite young, and literally across the street from me was a very small, simple convenience store. It had a bit of everything, and they had 1 or 2 arcade machines on, they'd swap it out. They'd have something there for a while, swap it out with something else. And that's where I first discovered a few arcade games in the very early stages. And one of the very first fighting games I actually remember playing on arcade was Time Killers.
Right.
Now, I don't know if it's one of those games that not a lot of people know about.
Time Killers. Oh, shit.
If you get on, if you get on YouTube, there's quite a popular channel on there, the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Oh yeah, Angry Video Game Nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, he can say a few things about Time Killers.
Okay.
So he's done a bit of a review on it. It's just one of those games that got released. It was around that time of the first Mortal Kombat, and actually, really, it does bring me to the first Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 1 came out, and I mean, what a game changer that was. And I do vividly remember first seeing that on arcade as a very young man, and just being addicted to it, thinking this is the best thing ever. And I just wanted to play that so badly. But, I couldn't necessarily go to the local arcade or anything. I mean, I was pretty young. And a Sega Master System was my first console at home. And I think Mortal Kombat was one of the first games I went to cash converters and purchased.
Cashies.
Yeah, cashies.
Mate, how much they rip you off for, eh?
Yeah. Now, I was a very young man in primary school, naturally, and I would be washing my mum's car. I would be doing whatever I could to earn pocket money, which was a thing back then that kids actually had to earn.
Yep.
And I would take said pocket money to my local cash converters, which was at Cannon Hill.
Oh,
and
I know that cashies, mate.
Yeah. Well, I spent a lot of time at that cash converters at Cannon Hill, and they had a fantastic Sega Master System and Mega Drive stash there. That was where I purchased Mortal Kombat on the Master System 2, to be precise, actually.
Okay,
and
Model 2, yeah.
I played that, and it was, looking back at it now, it is absolutely horrible. It is one of the worst ports of a Mortal Kombat you could ever play in your life. But at the time, I just thought I'd won the lottery. It was the best.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it, how time changes, like how you perceive games?
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
And then not too long after that, due to my very good friend at the time, who I would, would ride our bicycles over to each other's house, because back then kids did that. And he had the Mega Drive. And he had the Mega Drive with Mortal Kombat 2.
Ooh.
And you can imagine how jealous, how envious I was with my little Master System running the first Mortal Kombat, riding my bike over to his place, and he's sitting there playing Mortal Kombat 2 on the Mega Drive. And that just inspired me to quickly upgrade as soon as possible. Get Mortal Kombat 2 on the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
And it really just went on from there. Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3.
Nice. Oh, cool. Because those ports are on the Genesis and Super Nintendo or Mega Drive. Yeah, they're quite good, aren't they?
Yeah, the Super NES ones aren't too bad. Angry Video Game Nerd does a comparison. They're not bad. They're not bad. The Mega Drive ones are probably a little bit better than the SNES ones, but they sort of have
Mega Drive has the better sound.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And Sega's a bit more well known for their good arcade ports, I believe. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. Well then, that was great answer. What about yourself, Peter? Would you say your sort of earliest, like just your strongest, earliest memories that like really got you into fighting games?
Well, I think I've been talking about beat 'em ups. First game I still remember was Double Dragon.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, played that quite a number of times, and it took a long time to actually get to the end. I don't even actually recall trying to actually finishing the game.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the first sort of memory of the game, but I can definitely finish it these days.
nice.
So yeah, it's one of my favorites there. And one-on-one fighting games, that has to be the original Street Fighter.
Like the very first Street Fighter?
Yeah, the very first one.
Oh,
which is
man.
the Ken Ryu.
I've tried playing that on the Street Fighter collection.
Oh, really?
Oh, it is absolutely. Oh.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
like, I sat
Oh.
down and I'm like, I'm going to finish this because I want to finish every Street Fighter game. And after a few minutes, I was like, this is fucked.
It is so beautifully bad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just,
a couple of hits, you're gone.
yeah,
It kind of
so-
reminds me of like
it's so
it reminds
hard.
me of like a fighting version of that Sega game, Another World. Remember Another World, anyone?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Mike does.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The
And
prequel-
Mike has
So-
probably every game ever invented in his bedroom, so that's not surprising.
Mike's.
No, Ree would never allow this in the bedroom ever.
Oh.
That's why I have a separate room for it all.
Yeah, separate.
Hubba hubba.
That's Mike's game dungeon. Love it. Every man needs a good games room, I reckon. Woman,
Yes.
man,
Yeah.
every gamer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they
I
do.
will. Yeah, I will quickly pay a bit of homage there. I mean, Mike was kind enough to give me a tour and show his said collection to me recently, and I'll be honest, I didn't know where to look. There was just so much to look at.
Yeah, yeah,
I
man.
just- It was like being in a little museum.
Nice.
So it really is quite an impressive collection that clearly has been going for quite a number of years.
Mm,
So yes, kudos to you, Mike, for having quite an outstanding collection, mate.
mm.
Thank you.
I'm hoping to
You
buy
always
some
got
of that
something for sale,
collection
Mike.
soon. Yeah, he does, doesn't he, Peter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting rid of some of your stuff, eh, Mike? You're kind of downsizing.
Yeah. Slowly downsizing to the mini consoles and
I love it.
just to keeping the original stuff that I really love.
Your downsize is my upsize.
Yeah.
I hope to buy some of the Super Nintendo stuff you might be offloading. I can't.
A lot of it to go.
Yeah, I do sell stuff if I'm like, oh, I'm not going to play that anymore, but I try to keep most of it because unless I was like really hard up for cash or something, at least then I could sell stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've sold stuff before and then regretted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I thought about Super NES, and a lot of the reason I keep the older consoles is for CRT, like light gun gaming or
Oh, right.
things like that. Yeah, but because there's no games on the SNES that I want to play in the light gun, like Lethal Enforcers and the Scope 6 games and Yoshi's version of that as well. It's just I'm good with that.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. So then let's go with Peter. Yours was sort of the original Street Fighter, hey?
Yeah, pretty much just kicked on from there. Every
Yep,
other
yep.
Street Fighter sort of came out in the 90s, or the mid-90s, and, played. And, just recently got back into it in the last year, pretty much.
Oh, wow, in the last year. Dude, I thought you would just never stop playing because you kicked my ass so good.
Yeah, you
I was like,
you
oh,
wouldn't
Ah.
think that, would you?
yeah, I was just,
You wouldn't think so.
because,
Crazy day.
yeah, dude. When I
maybe
played you
be.
in Street Fighter 2, I was like, oh, I didn't feel too bad because I was like, oh, this guy has probably been playing since he was 12. But now I know that you're just awesome.
He never had a break. He's lying. He never had a break.
That's
Nah,
awesome. Man.
look,
Bit of a natural.
I think a lot of the skills from each of the Street Fighters that's transferable, which is good about the whole series.
Yeah,
You know,
for
the
sure.
same moves go from one to the other. Not like some of the other games that change the movement.
Mm.
Really
Yeah.
fun, mate.
Yeah,
Like Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat does occasionally.
yeah, just
Yeah,
like Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
They like to
Yeah.
make you learn a whole new sort of moveset and everything, don't they?
I like to mix it
Yeah.
up.
I think that's good. I think that it's good that we have a game that does that, and then we have a game that like Street Fighter where you can basically play Ryu the same as you would in 2, 3, and 4, and 5 probably, and still win if you're good at playing it that way.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. I think I
It's
So,
a
Peter-
beautiful game, Street Fighter.
Peter,
Yeah,
very
it's-
quickly, mate. What sort of age were you when you kind of drifted away from the Street Fighter scene and actually took a bit of a break?
You never did.
I'd say probably in my early 20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then probably stopped for probably a good 10 years, 15 years or something.
Oh, yeah.
Whilst I had my young family, but last year and a half, I got back into it. My son had to one up, and discovered there was a Street Fighter comp. Thought I'd be into that, and then probably met some of you guys there for the first time, and then another comp turned up. I think it was Mortal Kombat, Ultimate Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
Just one comp to the next, and got to meet all you lovely folks.
Got the bug
Pretty
back.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Peter, you played Street Fighter, the original, at the arcade, but you didn't play it with the push pads, hey? It was just the joystick and buttons?
Joysticks and the 6 buttons.
Right,
I
so
think that's
it was the
quite
6
unique.
buttons.
Yeah, definitely.
So I didn't have the punch pad.
Yeah, because anyone who's listening who doesn't know, Street Fighter, the very first Street Fighter originally released with a cabinet that had, I think it was just 2. I'm not sure, maybe there was more for each player, but you had punch pads or like they were sensor pads. And you had to hit it a certain, I think the harder you hit it, the harder you kicked or punched maybe. I don't know too much about it, but I know that they broke a fair bit. And then I guess Capcom probably either recalled them or replaced them with the current setup that we all know now, which is the 6 buttons and joystick, which is, it's just a beautiful thing. I love it. Of course, for Mortal Kombat, it's a different layout, which is also beautiful with the block in the middle. But yeah.
Sean, in regards to the punch pads, man, I heard Capcom stopped using them because people actually hurting themselves.
Oh, actually, yeah, I think I've heard that too. Yeah, because they hit him so hard, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense, man. Like you get
There's a liability.
a liability, yeah. Well, you get pretty angry when you play fighting games, so that makes sense.
Especially against Peter.
Oh man, been there. Yeah. All right. Cool. So let's go next down on my screen is Mike. Let's hear some of your fondest fighting game memories.
Well, I was going to dive into my first experience with Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, but I'd realised way before that, like years before that, I was playing one-on-one fighting games on Commodore 64.
Right.
What was that?
That was the first computer that our parents got for the family back in 1989, I think, even.
Wow.
And yeah, we had a whole big rack of discs in there, and we would just always go through all the discs and see what the programs were and play games if they popped up and stuff. And there was games like International Karate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Barbarian and Barbarian 2.
Nice.
Which had a single player mode and a one versus one mode as well. The Way of the Exploding Fist, which was pretty similar to International Karate, but had more of like a...
Wait, we got to pause on that title, man.
Yeah, let's go for that title, yeah.
The Way of the Exploding Fist, man. Wow, that either sounds like a really hectic sex toy or an awesome fighting game.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Couldn't help myself.
So I was using my exploding fists in the early days.
Wow.
Other games like I had one. I've lost it now. There was another Commodore 64 game, which is a one-on-one fighter. But yeah, around probably like 2 or 3 years after that, I was in primary school, and we lived sort of like out in the country in West Australia, so there wasn't. We had a local fish and chip shop, and it did have an arcade machine every now and then.
Okay.
But in primary school, I was mates with a kid who they had like good computers at home. So I was in year 4. This might have been like 1993 or 1994 4 maybe.
Okay.
And you know, his parents had like the cutting edge 486 DX IBM with a CD-ROM drive and stuff.
No way. No floppy? CD-ROM drive instead of floppy? Whoa.
Yeah. It was like the cutting edge 486s back then, yeah.
Like
and his older brother was like a computer PC genius. And he brought to school, firstly it was Street Fighter 2, and he had the multiple discs, you know, the little 3 1/4 floppy inch discs.
Yeah.
He had like 3 or 4 of them to get it loaded up into the school computers, which was like I think it was a 286. It was pretty old fashioned compared to what was cutting edge at the time.
Okay.
So he brought Street Fighter 2 in, and I was in year 4, I remember that. And it was way too intense for the PC to handle it, so it played in slow.
Wow, that's actually a good way to learn Street Fighter, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Mike. Another American Psycho reference. Cutting edge. Continue.
Okay. So yeah, that's the first time I saw Street Fighter 2, and like we talked about it at school because we'd seen it in like magazines and stuff, and we're all like dying to have these like consoles and stuff that we're seeing in magazines and hearing about. And so my mate brought in Street Fighter 2 on PC, and we're playing that. We're playing it in slow motion basically, so you could just counter move if you learnt how to counter move whatever attack they were doing. It was pretty straightforward. But I wasn't one of those kids to do that. I was always one of the kids to try and make a special move or a fatality work. So I was continually doing like special moves and just getting smashed by like an easy counter attack. Yeah.
Oh man, we've all been there. I reckon, like trying to do a special move when you just get killed because it's not working.
I don't know what it is. But then the year after that, we're all in year 5 then, and then he brought in Mortal Kombat 1 for the PC, and we had I think we had 386 at that time in one of the classes, and so we got it loaded up on that. The teachers didn't care that we were 10 years old and looking at all this real gory video game shit.
Right.
So that was sick, and that's where I first saw Mortal Kombat. And
back when teachers were teachers.
Yeah. You know, I mean, back then we were like into Terminator 2 and like, you know, Cliffhanger and Alien movies and Predator and I've talked to some of the guys about this. Some of us guys that are kind of heavy into Mortal Kombat compared to Street Fighter is the gore factor. And that's sort of what drew us in, because we're kind of like a similar age group. We have a very similar love of that old sci-fi action movie era of like the 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And like every one of those movies is like the newest martial art move to finish off a big fight that Van Damme knees this guy in the forehead or something, or the biggest, the latest like, sci-fi gun that comes out, and it's got like, you know, billion rapid fire like in Judge Dredd when he's like rapid fire, like, you know, and it was like I don't know, I was always like craving at a young age. I don't know why, probably because I had older siblings and they were like, you know, watching that stuff too, but always looking for that more gory, bigger head explosion, like bigger body parts flying everywhere sort of moment in a movie. Bigger exploding fist at your local, like, naughty but nice. I think that's what drew me to Mortal Kombat. So seeing Mortal Kombat at that age, I was like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. There's blood and shit everywhere. There's heads getting ripped out of bodies, and I'm ripping people's hearts out of my hand like in fucking Indiana Jones. And, dude, absolutely.
And Mike, like, seeing that you're talking about that, like, I know, like, Ed Boon, John Tobias, they actually wanted Jean-Claude Van Damme to be in the game.
Did they?
Yeah. And then he totally just denied it, so it could have gone a totally different way, man.
Dude, he might regret that now, because Mortal Kombat, it's a beast, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
but I guess it was so for the better.
He would have played Guile, like he played like Guile in the Street Fighter movie, didn't he?
Yeah. So basically, they
Mortal Kombat
just using
Johnny Cage, maybe.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's it, Sean. Like, they got Daniel Pacino to play Johnny Cage because that's who Johnny Cage was based off. Jean-Claude Van Damme had a blood sport, and then
that makes sense.
Jean-Claude Van Damme didn't want to put his name to it, and it happened.
Dude. That's funny because more people know Mortal Kombat than they've known Jean-Claude Van Damme. I reckon.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
These days.
Well, Mortal Kombat's immortal, right? Like, it's going to just keep going. That's funny. Mortal Kombat's immortal. I didn't even mean that.
And
But, it's going to keep going.
It does keep going. We're up to Mortal Kombat 11 now.
Yeah,
So
I haven't actually
it's
played
going.
the most recent one. Have you guys?
No, not really.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's a real retro gaming podcast when no one has played the most recent installment.
Yeah. Dude,
I'm not even upset about that. That's great.
Actually,
Yeah.
Sean, that's a very good point, and I'm going to quickly, while it's fresh in my head, I'm going to bring it straight out.
Yeah.
I don't even own a PlayStation 4 yet. And
Wow.
the only reason I am going to buy a PlayStation 4 is so I actually eventually can start playing Mortal Kombat 11 and just to get on the bandwagon.
Yeah. Man.
But I've only owned a PlayStation 3, which you can see behind me, sort of. It turned on through the CRT. I've owned that, how long, Buzz? 6 months to a year, roughly?
No, I don't fucking know, man.
Well, I bought it. The only reason
Feels like a lifetime, mate.
I bought this PlayStation 3 only really quite recently because Buzz was pushing me to buy one so I could play Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 online with him.
Yeah, good.
And so I actually went out and spent the $50 or $70, whatever it was, to buy my very first PlayStation 3 because I'd never owned one.
Oh, man, that's
and it was so I could play a game that's what 20 or 30. How old is Mortal Kombat 2 now?
It must be coming up to. It's at least 30 years old.
What about 95?
I think
Mortal Kombat
3
2.
years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago, Mortal Kombat 2 had its 20th birthday. So
okay, so 23.
Yeah. So there you go.
Something like that.
So there you go, Sean. I finally
John.
purchased a PlayStation 3 for the first time, so I could play a game that's 20 plus years old.
So you have a good like strategy there. So you get the console so late in its not even in its life cycle. You get it after its life cycle, after a new console is released, and you get it for like $50. But the rest of us chumps, we pay like $200-$300. Because we need it now, man.
That's it. Yeah. And I mean, look at Mortal Kombat 9. Yeah.
Definitely get a PS4, man. Every single Neo Geo fighter game, $10 a pop. Fatal Fury 1, $10 a pop. Sancho 2, $10 a pop.
Nice.
And that is actually legitimately one of the reasons I want to get a PlayStation 4 so that I can play these Neo Geo games online.
Yeah, man.
And plus, you'll need it for the next Brisbane Bash coming up for MK11, man.
Yes. Yeah.
John, if you do get a PS4, because I have had I'm onto my fifth, I say iteration, but I'm onto my fifth iteration of my PS4, either from trading it in or getting it repaired because it doesn't work.
Wow.
So yeah, other people don't have as many issues, but I've had to repair it. My old one, I got it repaired and then it stopped working. Traded it in, got another one. The controller was super laggy, no matter what controller I used. So I tested that. I traded that in. Now I got a PS4 Pro. I'm like, I'm going to make sure I get the most likely thing to work. Yeah, I would recommend getting the Pro if you can afford it because it just saves time. Because it's faster,
like a brand new
and it
Pro
works better. Secondhand from CEX. That's also a really good. If you guys haven't been to CEX at Garden City, they do from PS2 and Xbox onwards games and secondhand, and you can trade stuff in Blu-rays, DVDs. It's a really, really good shop, and the prices are pretty fair. I got a 2-year warranty on my secondhand PS4.
Really?
Yeah, that's a shop that I've been to, and they've got lots of old school stuff there too, which is great.
Yeah, nice.
They don't do proper retro like NES or SNES, but from the GameCube and Xbox and PS2 on, they do all that. I even saw I went in there. I was in there the other day to get my PS4 Pro, and they had a gun con, like a Namco gun con up there, like that you can use on the PS1. So I think because you can also use that on the PS2, I think they had it for sale for $15. So that's fair.
Jesus.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
I sold one for $20 to Busho, my mate, and I feel bad now because I'm like, there's a retail shop selling it for less. and they give you good trade-in prices too. Like you can trade in your old PS4 for like a couple $100. You know, so basically it's cashies but better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get something in return,
Focused on. They do phones, cameras, like all technology stuff, but a big part of it is DVDs, Blu-rays, games. So yeah, probably CEX.
Actually, it's a massive chain in England. I didn't know there was like a brand here.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like England's cashies, I guess, but like for technology.
It's not bad over there too.
Yeah, I think there's one at Strathpine and there's one at Garden City, and yeah, I really recommend it.
I'll check out the Strathpine one because that's actually maybe a 20-minute drive from me.
Nice. Actually,
enough talk about PS4.
That's current gen shit. Sorry. Well, let's go with your earliest memories, Buzz. Your earliest,
mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what really captured Buzz, aka Clinton? What captured your imagination?
The first arcade and / any video game ever was Galaga.
Ooh, wow! I just saw Mike get a little bit aroused.
Yeah,
man. No, it was Space Invaders, not Galaga. Fuck, Space Invaders.
Oh, boo!
I get it mixed up, man. Because I get it mixed up these days.
They're not the same, Buzz. God.
My granddad owned a corner store in Stone's Corner, and then because like I'm from the sunny coast, whenever we'd come to his place, we'd go play Space Invaders at Stone's Corner in his shop, and then his shop closed down, and then he just had it in his house, and me and my brother would play Space Invaders. Do I just cut out again?
You had no,
you're good. You're good.
Dude, we were just like enthralled with your story. That's why you heard nothing.
Oh, okay. Everyone's looking like a bunch of everyone's looking like a bunch of Robert Lanham mannequins. It's all good. We'll get to that later. Space Invaders was my first game I ever played. Like me and my brother played that hard out. Well, we didn't get like into the tech because at the time we were probably like 8 years old.
Right. So you're just like trying to survive and having fun.
Yeah, we had fun. It was good, but it was actually pretty cool because my granddad. Oh, you're gonna fucking hate this story, man. Like, and it was probably about 2008. My granddad died, and then my grandmother literally sold his Space Invaders cab for like $100. Original.
Oh, grandma.
I know.
Oh, is she still with us, Buzz?
Yeah, she's like kicking on. She's like a bitter fucking neo-Nazi Finnish fucking.
Holy shit! I don't feel bad about like being annoyed at her now. Like,
don't feel bad. She's a fucking mental wreck.
Oh my god, Buzz! Oh my god,
dude! Like seriously, man. There was like videos like me and my cousin and my brother, and we'd like literally just like film her secretly with our old Nokia phones. She'd be like, "Oh, I remember when the Holocaust was going on. I was living in Finland as a young girl. I was hiding under the bed because the Russians were trying to steal Finland. And then I saw these big black shiny boots, and this hand reaches under, and I see this big SS on the jacket, and I was in love. Hail Hitler!"
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, if you're okay with me, I'm including that in the full podcast because
go fucking nuts.
That's like an amazing historical story, man. Holy shit!
I'm sure Johnny Bond will appreciate it.
Yeah. Johnny will be like, that was me too. Yeah.
Shit. But yeah, then
Sorry,
basically throughout the 80s it was like just Space Invaders on my grandfather's cab, and then
nice.
Let's get back to early 90s, Video Easy in Victoria Point.
Now Vicky Point, yeah.
Yeah, now it's Main Roads, Queensland Department of Transport now.
Oh,
they had a MK1 machine. And then I fell in love with Raiden. I was like, what the fuck is this? I like this guy beating the shit out of everyone. He's wearing like a rice field cap. like he looks like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, I do, yeah.
And got into that, and then parents split up. We moved up the Sunshine Coast, got into Samurai Showdown 2 for a while at a local fish and chip shop. And then they opened up a arcade in Mooloolaba.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
which is
in
on the sunny
Mooloolaba.
coast,
It's like, Sunshine Coast in Mooloolaba. The wharf there, if you've ever been to the wharf, it was called Tops Arcade. And at this point in time,
interesting.
Yeah, at this point in time, it was because my mum and dad split, so me and my brother would like hang out with my dad most of the time because he was like loose as shit. He didn't give a shit what we done at night.
Well, of course, as kids, you're gonna hang out with whoever you can get away with the most with, right?
Yeah, man. So we were like chilling with dad, and then like whenever we were like hanging out with dad, me and my mates would go surfing during the day, and then we get lunch at this little burger shop called Surfy's in the Mooloolaba. And they had a Street Fighter World Warrior cab. We'd play that, and then we'd go home. And then later in the night, we'd go to Tops Arcade and play Mortal Kombat 2.
Dude, you had the life, man. What the hell? Surfing, Street Fighter, Tops, burgers.
It was sick, man. Product of a broken childhood, man. It's great. But that Tops Arcade, But I guess with like my first real like love was like Mortal Kombat 2 at Tops Arcade, Mooloolaba.
Wow, that was your first real like. Okay, this is it. For
me. This is legit. Like I would go home from there and I'd literally have like nightmares about Baraka.
Oh, dude, Baraka still disturbs me to this day, man. Like he's got what does he have? Steel like swords or rods in his arms, and
like the law has changed over the years. It's like gone from steel to bone to I don't know what tungsten or some shit.
Either way,
but actually that Tops Arcade, it's now the Underwater World gift store.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it still called Underwater World? Or?
Yeah, Underwater.
No, they changed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard they changed it,
Oh, what did they change it to?
I've taken my kids there, I think, twice now. It is not a cheap day out. It's no longer Underwater World. It's now something like Sea Life
or something.
Sea Life.
Oh, dude, Underwater World sounds way better.
It does. It really does.
It just maybe it's because we have the sort of nostalgia for seeing the ads or whatever, but Underwater World, like, whoa, it's a different world.
Probably just the fact that it's got the word world in it just made it sound better.
Yeah, like, it's like Super Mario World, but it's underwater.
Yeah.
But John, do you know that little gift store that you walk out to at the end of the whole thing?
Yeah,
that was the arcade, man.
Okay.
That was the arcade. It was fucking sick, man.
Yes, I know that very I know that very highly priced gift store that you are referring to.
Oh man.
It even had that shooting gallery that like Grundy used to have, man. No, the shooting gallery where you actually have a real gun. You'd like shoot the piano player at the butt and you'd like start playing piano and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
We'll continue off the story. I'll make it short. Basically, a couple of years goes by. Killer Instinct came out on Super Nintendo. My mum, we had all the family over. Me and my brother Ben were playing Killer Instinct on SNES, and then he was beating the shit out of me. And then I bit him on the ear, and he says, "What the fuck?" And then runs into his room while Mum's recording it all because our family's over. And then she just gets the VCR camera and like pans it to my granddad on the couch, and he's just looking like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Were you taking tips from Mike Tyson or something, mate? What were you doing?
Tyson.
Yeah. John, you don't know I don't take losing very well, mate. Jeez.
I'll show you Evander Holyfield. Ah.
And then I guess. Yeah, and I guess after that, like, just played out the MKs, like Deception, fucking all those fucking
Armageddon.
Yeah, all that crap, and then I guess again, it's a good Deception's the best one, but then I guess more recently, like Netherworld Open, they have an MK2 tournament. My mate Kerry Mays. My mate Kerry Mays was like, hey, like, there's MK2 tournament, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And done that, won that. And then
you won it.
Yeah, I won the first one, mate.
Wow, so casual. Like, oh yeah,
like, yeah, whatever, tournament. Like,
yeah. Let's go, mate. We'll give it a shot. Oh, look at that, I won.
you probably missed it, Sean, because they used my real name, Clint Campbell, not Buzz Clinton. So yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
And then after that, developed a sick obsession where I had to go to every tournament, MK2 tournament in the country.
That's a beautiful
went to 1989's one, and yeah, it was good.
You went down there and you won for Queensland, right? And took the trophy home.
Yeah, there was no trophy. Like, there was literally 12 people that went. So
don't downplay it. It sounds way cooler if you're like, I went down there and I stole the trophy from these people. No, but fair enough.
Yeah,
you're an honest bloke.
Just to stop you there for a sec, Buzz. Like, just for Sean, and I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but Buzz basically built the classic arcade fighting scene in Brisbane. Since the arcades opened, he brought everyone together. Buzz is the man.
Yeah.
At the centre of it.
No, I think Pete
Guru.
did.
I didn't do nothing, mate.
Mate, Pete was just tagging along behind us, stealing our trophies, mate.
Yeah,
he was just there to really win all the competitions.
Pete's along for the ride. Like, you guys organise this, and I'll just win.
I was holding everyone's beers. Here,
yeah. Peter's getting everyone drunk so he can win.
Pretty much.
No, I will actually follow on from what Mike had a very good point just then, and it's what was going through my head a moment ago, which was, Netherworld had their first Mortal Kombat 2 tournament, which Buzz was just talking about, which, yes, he won. And that was what really got me back into the scene.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I hadn't really played Mortal Kombat properly for a very long time. Like, I'm talking since primary school, or, I hadn't really played it properly in a long time, but I never lost my love for it. I always loved it. It was always a great part of my life. But then suddenly this place called Netherworld, which I think I've been to once just to check it out, and next thing I see, they're having a Mortal Kombat 2 tournament. I'm thinking, that's pretty damn cool. So I should actually just go in and give it a shot. I've got nothing to lose. It was $10 to get in, and that gets you a drink. I mean, you've got nothing to lose. Why not? And that was where I first met Buzz. And I've literally got the footage on my computer from their webcam of us meeting for the first time on the practice machine, just warming up. Yes.
Dude, that's cool. You have footage of like your friendship starting.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little creepy, but it's like really cool too.
You actually beat me in the practice.
Only once. I did. And I've got that saved as a screenshot, as a picture, because that was a great moment in my life.
You're sicker than me, John. You're sicker than me, mate. Fuck it.
No, make no mistake. Buzz Clinton goes back and reviews this video footage very carefully to study and make sure he knows how to beat his opponent.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's a true mark of a champion.
But that was where I first met Buzz, and we just were mucking around on the during the practice rounds, getting ready for the tournament. The footage consists of me bitching about the stick and the buttons because they weren't feeling too good on the day. And, I was still pretty green then. Yeah. We were both complaining about, you really got to whack the stick hard on the left, don't you? Yeah, it's not, it wasn't too great.
It was perfectly good.
But,
it was great.
But that was where it really, that's where it kicked off again for me. My love for arcade and Mortal Kombat 2 and everything just, boom, it just came back like a freight train, and
nice.
that tournament happened. I did not do very well. I think I made it to maybe the top 15 or 20 or some crap like that.
Oh,
and,
decent.
Buzz took the trophy, and afterwards on Facebook, I made a point of just giving a bit of a comment on a Netherworld site saying, hey guys, yeah, great tournament, what super fun, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing I know, I get this friend request from Buzz.
Fuck yeah.
You know,
Buzz was crushing. Buzz had a crush.
Who's this dude with tats and a beard and everything sending me this friend request? Oh, yeah, that's right. I met him at this tournament. He seemed like a nice guy. Oh, he's the guy that won. I better accept this friend request.
Oh.
So I accepted his friend request. And it took probably about a year or something like that until we finally caught up and we finally made a date.
Oh.
We were able to stick to it. And Buzz and I met up and we met each other for the second time at Netherworld. Just to chill out, have some drinks, play some more Mortal Kombat. And that's when it really developed for me because Buzz took the time to really improve my gameplay and really showed me the tricks of the trade.
Yeah.
You know,
and now I regret it.
now you
and
have
it's really
like
just
a
gone up
rival.
from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Man. That's
I regret
one of the
it now.
best things about video games and especially fighting games because you're actually against each other.
Yeah.
Like it brings people together, even though you're opponents. Like it brings like now you guys are probably lifelong friends, right? Like same with me and Mike and a bunch of people. Like it's not just about the game. Not to get too
it's not at all. I mean, you're literally playing a game where in the game you're trying to devour each other and pull the limbs off and everything. But
you're actually trying to pull their heart out.
But quite literally. But you're standing there at the cabinet side by side, just pissing yourselves laughing and having a great old time, and it's fantastic. It's the best thing.
It is, man.
I think that's how I met Mike as well. Like I literally done the same, like sort of like
through Instagram.
We played and looked there. Looked up their names after the tournament. And I found Mike as well.
Yeah.
Buzz is just like Facebook stalking people. Like, look at this player.
Dude, I've been playing Mortal Kombat online for fucking years and years, man, and I just wanted some real friends to play in real life.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, man. Dude, it's nice to actually know the people you're beating down.
Yeah.
Well, I might go through like my fighting game story and
man.
Also reminded me like how I sort of got back into it. But when I was younger, so I have two older brothers and a younger brother. But my oldest brother, he had a mate who was like really good at Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo, and he to this day hasn't played it in decades, but he still remembers the cheat codes. Like I can ask him like, what's the cheat code? And be like, oh, up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. I'm like, whoa, man, it's crazy because he played it so much when he was a kid. So I had memories of watching my brother play it, and there was like a cheat code for showing blood, I think, on the Super Nintendo because
on the Super Nintendo.
I think, or maybe
Mortal Kombat 1 or.
I can't remember which Mortal Kombat it was, but I just remember there was like a way to show blood. And at the time, to my little brain, that was like, what? You can beat people
I think that might have been...
Yeah,
you might have been playing on the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, because Super Nintendo didn't have blood, but Genesis had a blood code at the attraction screen, A, B, A, C, A, B, B. You'd put that in.
Oh, that's probably right then.
Be like, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember seeing that and like just thought Mortal Kombat was so cool. And I had played Street Fighter because I think we rented it out or whatever from our local like network video. But
how good was like renting games back in the day? That was
man, and you could rent consoles too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We used to rent like Sega Saturns, like just take advantage of our weekends with Dad. Hey, Dad, we haven't seen you. Well, rent a Sega Saturn, $200.
Mike's got Rise of the Robots rental, the same case.
Got a couple rentals there.
Dude, that's so cool.
Go on, Shaw, man.
Yeah. Okay. So, I had a really fond memory of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat from an early age. Never really got into them just because I would just muck around with them when I could. And
you're quite good at Street Fighter.
Now I am because I got back into it later on. It's coming up, Buzz. Just be patient, mate. Sorry.
The old Jerry. Sorry, mate.
No. I'm just being a knob. I remember when I went to, I think it was Garden City, there was an arcade there. I don't remember what it was called or anything, but I do distinctly remember seeing like X-Men versus Street Fighter. Not even playing it because I was with my mum and I didn't have any money and I was like a kid. And just being like, oh my God, there's X-Men versus Street Fighter. That's so cool. And this was around the time that I think I had watched the Street Fighter movie a whole bunch because I just thought it was so cool. Even though it's terrible. Like,
oh no, dude, how good is the Street Fighter movie?
When I was a kid, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like,
I'm a Mortal Kombat man, but the Street Fighter movie shits all over anymore.
Yeah, dude,
it does.
It was cool. And I think it was all around the same time. And I saw like X-Men versus Street Fighter. And I was just like, oh, that's so cool. But I don't know. It took me a long time. I got back into video games after because I was super focused on basketball for a while and I didn't really play many video games, sort of just like casual stuff like Mario Kart or Tony Hawk's because I was into skateboarding. Yeah. And then Street Fighter 4 came out and I remember I bought it or rented it and I played it on a CRT and it was kind of designed to be played on more of a modern TV at the time. And I played it on Xbox or something and I was like, oh, I played it on a gamepad and I was like, oh, I'm crap at this. This is shit. But then I got like this joystick from eBay and it had the button layout that you would for fighting games. And it came with MAME and a whole bunch of games. And I started playing fighting games a bit. And then I got Street Fighter 4 and an actual fight stick. Like a Mad Catz Tournament Edition 2 fight stick.
Dude, I got that too now.
Yes. So good.
I literally...
Nice.
Yeah. I literally swapped my Sega Mega Drive for a Mad Catz Tournament Edition 2 to some dude living in a commune in Balimba.
And, we need to go through that story after this, man. That's the next thing. Because that sounds super interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I got that, and like I don't remember exactly the sequence, but I remember seeing Street Fighter 4 in the arcade that was in the city. I think it was either Time Zone or iPlay or something at the time. And there was like a tournament you could enter. I can't remember what it was called, but it ended up being the prelims for like the big fighting game tournament. What's it called? The big like international fighting game tournament, where Daigo and everything. Evo. It ended up being the Evo, like one of the qualifiers for Evo, but it was like Land Smash. That's what it was called, Land Smash. And they had fighting game tournaments there. So I entered that a few times and I got my ass kicked, but like I did get to the point on Street Fighter 4. So the Street Fighter 4 was when I actually got into fighting games properly. And I ended up being able to do the FADC, like you do with Ryu, like the Shoryuken, focus attack, dash cancel into Metsu Hadouken. And like I always thought that was so freaking cool. And I watched Daigo do it in all these different ways. And I ended up being able to do it. Obviously could barely do it in a real game. But oh man, like Street Fighter 4 for me was where I like got hooked on like Street Fighter. And then I used Oh, nice, dude. Do you use I use the same tactics for Street Fighter 4 that I use that in Street Fighter 2 is like low medium kick to Hadouken and just like anti-air high punch and
bread and butter.
Hey,
the bread and butter combo.
Oh, it is, right? Bread and butter. Like you can distance yourself and also get in a little Hadouken. So that was
that's right. That's right, Pete. Other people are learning it, mate. Watch out.
Oh, he knows a lot more than that, I reckon. So that
that's
was
awesome,
me.
man.
So I had my original memories from a kid, but I never really got into it. But actually getting into it properly, it was like Street Fighter 4.
So Sean, because I was like growing up as a kid on the sunny coast, what was the arcades like in Brisbane back in like the late 90s, early 2000s? What was that like?
I only remember going to arcades as like a all-you-can-play thing with, like, I did go to them here and there, but never really had much money to spend. But the Time Zones did this like all-you-can-play for like $20 or something.
Yeah.
And my dad took us to that a few times. I don't know if it was a lock-in. Oh, maybe it was for like Thursday nights or something. Like you pay a bit of money and or you can play for 2 hours for $20 or something. And that just blew my mind. And
Yeah.
the arcade scene here, I don't know too much because, that was sort of my experience with it. But when Street Fighter 4 was out, there was a bit of a local meetups in the city at the time zone there. It was a time zone I play at the time. It used to be called Las Vegas, I believe, back in the day. Yeah, so that's kind of my experience. And I still play Street Fighter 4. I've got Ultra Street Fighter 4 on my PS4. I do have Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 9 and a Mortal Kombat X, which I guess is 10. I haven't got 11 yet, but I'd like to play that. Like, even just to play through it and like do the fatalities, man.
It does look. Yeah, I've literally only touched it once or twice when we were having a tournament and I got to have a quick play, but I haven't played it properly. But I will say Mortal Kombat 11 is a very pretty game. I mean, it looks gorgeous.
I can imagine it would, yeah, because it's the most. It is the most like modern fighting game release, isn't it? Out of like the big guys, Mortal Kombat.
Out of the big guys, yeah. I know Street Fighter has had a fairly recent-ish one. I don't know whether it's
Street
newer or older.
Fighter 5. Yeah,
a
few years old
I'm not
now.
sure. Oh, okay. Yeah,
I didn't
MK11 is very recent.
I didn't like Street Fighter 5 as much. They kind of wanted to reduce the skill gap. So, like, there's combos you can do where it's just like you just hit the buttons and you don't have to time it. But Street Fighter 4 is all about timing, like getting in the right frames. I think Peter may know a bit about that. But Street Fighter 5, I'd still like it. It's a good game, but for me, I don't know. I'm just biased because I love Street Fighter 4 so much.
Yeah, I like Street Fighter 4, the Ultra Street Fighter 4. I've got that as well. I also bought the Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition as well. But it is a hard game to play. There's just so many moves as well. It's hard to remember them all.
Yeah, it doesn't feel nearly as nice and smooth. Like when I go from Street Fighter 5 to Street Fighter 4, I just feel like I'm back home, man. It feels great.
Yeah, Street Fighter 4 is definitely the better.
Lost Buzz again.
Lost Buzz again. I think we might keep going. He's coming back.
Oh, no, he's coming back. He's coming back.
Oh, Buzz, you're more inconsistent than bloody... I don't know. I don't have anything to say.
You must have been to the load.
Can you hear us, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you now. My Bluetooth headphones just went off, so now
we thought you were dropping a Hadouken in the toilet.
Now, Sean, you made an interesting point a moment ago when you were talking about your Street Fighters and how really your love, you go from 5 back to 4 because 4 is what feels just a bit better and it's where you go better. That's also relatable with what I've found with the recent Mortal Kombats. You've got Mortal Kombat 9, which, well, I mean, it's just called Mortal Kombat, but everyone refers to it as MK9, which is the re-release they did. And then, later came out X10, and then they brought out 11. We're finding that all the guys that are playing those 3 recent Mortal Kombats, they still love 9.
Oh, really?
Like yeah. I mean, yes, they'll play 10. 10's okay. Yeah, there we go. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. And
did you say 10?
Yeah, 10. That's the one you held up before. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, X. Yep. So what I've been finding with the group of guys that are really a bit, I guess, a bit more into the recent Mortal Kombats, the 9, the 10, the 11, is when it comes down to it, they love going back to 9. There's just something about 9 that's got playability. There's something about it. They just love playing it.
It is very nice to play. I played it a lot.
Well, John, the thing about Mortal Kombat 9, man, that was the first Mortal Kombat that was released after Armageddon after a huge hiatus, man. So everyone loved it.
Yeah.
The gameplay was brilliant. It's a beautiful fucking game.
Yeah, and they went back to the roots of like how it felt. I reckon it felt more like the older games. I don't know as much as you guys, but to me it felt like a pretty good extension after the retro, like 1, 2, 3, and 4s.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
and the fatalities were just to see fatalities that looked almost real for the first time. Dude, I can see why it was banned here.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah. At first.
And then
yeah.
funny thing with MK9, that's like what sort of re-sparked me playing Mortal Kombat again in like 2011, because I was working in WA, Port Hedland in the mines, and like I'd go to work every day, I'd come home and I'd just like play Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection because MK9 was banned.
Oh, you couldn't get it yet, right?
No, but that's
an interesting kind of story. Yeah.
There's an old website. It still goes. It's called Test Your Might. It's like one of the longest.
Oh, I remember.
It's like one of the longest running sort of like Mortal Kombat forum sites. And then ended up just like I ended up getting a hold of the game because and it was ended up finding out it was the same guy that was dealing the games to Australia because it was illegal. His name was Carl Ashurst.
Okay.
Johnny Carl.
Oh, God.
Yeah, man.
Isn't that crazy that like a video game was like you were kind of scared to try to buy it because I think you could get fined pretty bad if they found out.
Well, that was the thing. There was like ways around doing it. Like my mate Darren Payne and Johnny Carl and Duncan Trent, they were like literally ordering the game, but the guy they knew in America where they were getting them from, they were literally putting them in like Mortal Kombat Annihilation DVD cases.
Ooh.
That's how
really?
they were doing it.
So then even if they looked into it, they'd be like, oh, this is an old Mortal Kombat, that's fine.
Oh, they were like totally unsealed, just like secondhand like versions of, I don't know what was going on, but yeah.
That's brilliant. So I bought Mortal Kombat 9. I was like, man, this is awesome. I want the joystick and everything. So I bought the collector's edition from the States, and it got here. And like the first thing I see, because this is when it was banned, I was like, I'm just going to risk it because they'll just confiscate it if I'm not allowed to have it, I guess, even though you're supposed to apparently get a big fine. But like it came to my house and I was like, oh, sweet. It got through. And I opened it. The box was like massive, right? Like, I don't know, let's say 60 by 30 by 30. It was a big box, and I opened it, and the first thing I see is a massive, like, classic Mortal Kombat symbol with Mortal Kombat written across it. I was like, man, if they even took 1 second to look at this, they would have realized what it was. But I think they just didn't care.
Right.
I don't think anyone really got a fine. It's a video game, man. It's like there's worse stuff you can just look at.
Well,
online.
Mortal Kombat 9 actually set the actual standard for Australia to actually have a R18 on video games, man.
I remember that, and that's important, man, because otherwise we get these like nerfed games that are basically like the South Park Stick of Truth. I think the Australian version, they just had to cut stuff out and put like a funny cartoon of making fun of the koalas or something.
Yeah. And like Darren and Carl, it was basically back the MK9 days when it was illegal. It was like Darren, Carl, and Duncan. They were like running these underground tournaments and like literally like filming them and stuff. And there was literally like police, like online police on YouTube. They were like shutting it down to like track them down. It was fucking insane, man.
Wow.
Whoa.
Dude, that's so funny for a video game. That's like what you'd expect if like someone was like doing like an ice drug party or something.
Exactly, man.
Cops
it was insane,
down.
man. Like, and I guess like for me personally, like what got me back into like competitive gaming was MK9. Like meeting these boys on Test Your Might, and then they mentioned, I was like sent a message saying, hey, Mortal Kombat 9, anyone play online? And I got like messages from Darren, which his name at the time was like Axeman something on fucking Test Your Might. And then went to Brisbane Bash. He said we got a Brisbane Bash.
Oh.
Brisbane Bash, which started off as like underground tournaments. They had Brisbane Bash 1 to 3, which was underground, and then Brisbane Bash 3, I think 3 or 4, I think it was. I attended. Yeah, like done it right, but yeah, and that's how I sort of like met all these guys like Duncan and Darren and Yeah, and like Duncan's like he's like a OG like MK fan as well, like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. Like, yeah, he's like he actually took out the BPAC MK2 tournament, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's
I remember hearing the
it's sort
name
of
Duncan. Yeah.
Yeah, it sort of all started from MK9 again, like the whole competitive thing for myself anyway, and then
Probably
that's how I met
sparked a
him.
lot of people to get back into it, and then they remembered playing the old games, and then they thought, I'll get into them as
exactly.
well, and then maybe there was tournaments, and
Yes, Duncan, as Buzz just said, I mean, not only did Duncan take first place at the BPAC Mortal Kombat 2 tournament, then following that, there ended up being the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 tournament at 1UP.
No, that was before.
Was that before, was it?
It was before, yeah.
Oh, it was
That's how
before,
we
begging
met
your pardon. Yes, begging your pardon, of course. Yes.
Second.
That's right. And Duncan actually took out first place at that as well. So he's got first place on 2 different Mortal Kombat OG tournaments, number 2 and number 3. And somewhere along the way, I think he must have realized how good he was at these old games, because his online name on the PlayStation it used to be just Stitch Up. And now somewhere along the way, he put a Sir in front of it. So now it's Sir Stitch Up.
He's been knighted.
He has.
You are.
I'm not sure who's knighted him. He probably just grabbed a sword and touched it on his own shoulders. But he is officially a Sir Stitch Up now, and he has taken first place on 2 different Mortal Kombat tournaments. So
Well, that's
cool.
That's how we met Pete, man. Like Pete came second at the 1UP Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 tournament.
Oh,
wow,
you did too.
Nice,
You
Pete.
did too.
And then we're like, who the fuck are you, Pete? And he's like, yeah, I'm a Street Fighter player. And then it was actually funny.
Dude, that's awesome.
Sean. It was actually funny, Sean. Like on that day of the 1UP Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 tournament, you rocked up, but you had to go get some food or some shit.
Yeah.
Stephen Holmes, he's like, I got my own boy here to school you all. And then I'm like, oh, who's that? And he's like, Peter Hyde, the guy that came second in the, what was it, Pete? The Ultimate Street Fighter tournament?
Yeah, Ultimate Street Fighter 1UP,
Yeah. And then, he just fucking owned with Cabal. Like,
Yeah, Cabal. Yep.
Oh, Cabal's cool.
I versed Pete once, and he was Cabal, and I had no chance. There's nothing.
Oh, Pete. Damn, taking names.
I haven't actually played that one. I played
that tournament. I'll
Sorry,
stick with
Pete?
the flu guy, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Hey?
Grab a beer. I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, no worries, Mike.
All right.
I was going to ask everyone, what do you guys think of playing with a gamepad versus playing with a joystick? I believe that the only way to play fighting games is with a joystick, right?
It's got to be with a joystick.
Yeah, I can't play with a gamepad. I feel like it's heresy. It feels terrible, and I just want to like put that controller in the bin when I try to play with it.
Yeah. Well, no, Sean, it's funny you say that. When Buzz finally talked me into buying a second-hand PlayStation 3 so I could play Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 with him online with the PS3, I did that. I bought it. I bought the game. I was very excited, plugged in, played it online with him. But I only had the Sony PlayStation 3 gamepad initially to start me off. And so I was there trying to play Buzz online with this Sony gamepad. And I nearly threw it out the window. It was so horrible.
That makes me want to throw up.
And so from that moment, I realized I need a fight stick. I absolutely need a good quality fight stick to be able to play this properly, and also be used to it so that when I go to Netherworld or 1UP, it doesn't feel weird.
Yes.
When you're suddenly jumping on a proper arcade machine.
Yes.
You know, it's nothing worse than getting good at a gamepad, and then suddenly you go to an arcade and you're playing a proper cabinet with big stick and button layout, and it feels so foreign that you just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, so
thanks.
I actually have a confession. Like, I've gone back to using a D-pad because, like, with the whole ISO fucking COVID shit, Chantel's working from home.
I'm gonna mute Buzz, guys.
Hey?
I'm gonna mute you, Buzz, since you're using a D-pad.
don't want to use the D-pad, but
I'm kidding.
the story, like, literally, man, like, Chantal, like, my whole games room has been changed into, like, a home office, and the only time I can play is, like, when she goes to sleep, and then I'd try sneak out the stick, and then she's like, "Oh, it's too fucking loud." And I gotta get the D-pad out and play John McIntyre online, and John McIntyre's just fucking raiding the shit out of me on MK2.
Dude, that's so emasculating. Like,
I'm actually glad
put your joystick away.
I'm glad that you've actually come clean about that, Buzz, because frankly, now I'm understanding why I've been kicking your ass lately.
John had this false sense of confidence.
I did.
Yep.
Just another excuse, John. Just another excuse, John. But
that's
like,
too good.
That's
I've dealt with that as well. Like,
that
joystick's too loud. Can you play with something else? Like, well, no, I can't. I'm just going to have it play a different game.
Yeah.
And then you still get like grief about the fucking D-pad. Even it's just like they're just.
That's too much.
Fun whatsoever.
Yeah.
So,
I can hear you pushing the D-pad. Oh, come on. Put some earplugs in.
On that topic though, Mike, where do you stand actually with D? Because you use D-pad quite a bit, but I know you do have your fight stick as well. Where do you stand, mate, with D-pad versus fight stick?
Yeah. Well, now that I'm playing you guys, like I learned how to play fighting games with D-pads and like a 4-button or 6-button, controller. And I played that up until I met you guys, until I realised that I need to use like a stick and buttons to be able to play the arcade machine competitively.
Yeah.
So I've just converted to using this thing up here now when I play fighting games.
Well, so you can play you could probably do well no matter what. Like if there was a console tournament and Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat was part of it, you'd be all right.
Yeah. If that'd be awesome.
Well, Mike kicked like six shades of shit out of me on UMK3 the other night. So
did he?
Yeah.
Wow, 6 different shades. Well done, Mike.
That's actually a good question.
It's the first time I've beaten Buzz more than twice in a whole session.
Wow. Is that because Buzz had to use the D-pad?
Probably, yeah. Because I'm getting used to the stick now. I'm getting real quick with the
Man, Buzz
movements, yeah.
I reckon Buzz is just like in this like lockdown period, he's just like lulling everyone into a false sense of security. Like, oh, I can beat Buzz, and then it comes to the tournament, and he's just like, boom.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, everyone is like fucking playing so many games in lockdown and shit, and like it's reverse for me. It's fucked.
Oh, you can't play as much.
No, I'm like hoping that I get into like fucking 2 weeks quarantine just so I can have a bit of time off work and play some games. For fuck's sake, it's shit. And then as soon as I get home, Chantal's like, "Hey, what's for dinner?" "Oh, Buzz is a fucking ex-chef. Let's cook some dinner."
Oh, dude, that's rough.
And then I got to like because basically like I had this whole games room set up, and it's like it's fucked. Like I had a CRT. Nice 28-inch CRT, that shit itself. So basically, I got 3 PlayStation. I got 3 PlayStations, 2 PlayStation 2. No, not 2s. 2 PlayStation 4s, 1 PlayStation 3, all hooked up into the marital bedroom TV. And it's like, okay, I'll just wait for Chantal to stop watching Supernatural because of the super hunks, and wait for her to go to bed, and wait for her to start snoring. Send the boys a fucking thing saying, "Hey, I'm keen to go," and then it's like,
oh man,
but it's all good. But anyway, like that's a good question. Like, what's everyone been playing like in their isolation in this sort of time, if they've been isolated?
Nice. Well, I haven't been playing any fighting games actually. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which is awesome, and I finished Batman on Game Boy, which I played on my Super Nintendo through the Super Game Boy.
Yeah.
And I just play Tetris pretty consistently because I love it.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, nice.
And Donkey Kong.
What about you, John?
As well. Yeah.
Mate, I'd love to say that I've been playing a lot of games, but truthfully, I just haven't. I've been having to work from home, or everyone where I work, we're all working from home, so my bedroom is where my office is set up. But, because I am still busy doing my job, even though I'm at home, so I work the 8:30 to 5, clock off at 5. But my 2 kids are then already home. So because I got the kids, and then, Kirsty will come home, we've got to get dinner sorted and all the usual day-to-day stuff. Yeah, I still haven't really had that much more time to just sit down and play games any more than what I did prior to COVID-19. So no real change for me there, really, with the COVID situation and gaming time. But
fair enough.
If you don't mind, Sean, just very quickly, because I would love to just show this on this podcast, going back, because we're talking about the whole fight stick versus D-pad thing. I mentioned how it was driving me absolutely to distraction having to use a D-pad when versing Buzz online with MK2 and MK3 on the PlayStation 3. So I heavily got onto Marketplace and Gumtree and was looking everywhere for a good, suitable fight stick that I could use. And the one that you see up here, which, as you'll know, the proper Mortal Kombat one that they brought out with MK9 for a period there.
5 buttons.
Like it's the proper Mortal. It's got the proper Mortal Kombat button layout as per the arcade machine and everything.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was looking for. I was desperately looking for this fight stick, and it's very hard to find. I simply could not find it. It's rare as hen's teeth now. So so at the time, I was lucky enough to find I don't know how you pronounce it, whether it's Kanba or Quanba. It's Qanba is the brand. And I was lucky enough to find some kid who had barely used it. He had one. It was in pristine condition, still in the box and everything.
Nice.
And I bought it for about $50-something. It's it's a couple $100 fight stick. Beautiful. But I bought it, and it came standard with its perspex with this here, with your standard, standard button layout.
John's got on standby.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so that's what it came with standard, which was fine. And look, if you're playing Street Fighter and Tekken, that sort of thing, that's absolutely perfect. That's great. I was still getting a bit frustrated, though, going from that to suddenly going to 1UP or Netherworld and using the Mortal Kombat button layout.
Yes.
So because it is very different. Your fingers are more spread out. Where the block button is, it feels completely different. So I actually went to the effort of doing a bit of a DIY handyman job and brought some 3mm MDF. Yeah, I literally took that off and I used it as a template in terms of the outline.
Very cool.
So I took that off, used that as my outline on the sheet of MDF, and did a bit of mucking around to try to make it as strong as possible underneath where you can't see it. And I basically went to Bunnings, brought literally a roll of adhesive contact, like you put on books and stuff like that, like in the arts and crafts section.
Oh yeah.
And I basically ended up with
look at that. So
doing
for the listeners that can't see this, it's a Mortal Kombat setup. So you've got 2 buttons and then one in the center and then another 2 buttons on the right, and that's basically like low punch, high punch, low kick, high kick, and then in the middle of that you got the block, and then you've got a couple of other buttons there too. So
the other buttons.
Sean.
Yeah.
You notice that white button at the top? That's the Liu Kang auto fire fireball button.
You wish, mate.
Once he does the bicycle kick.
Right.
That little fella right there is the start button, my good sir. That is the start button.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that
the extra
so legit. Holy crap.
Yeah, the two red buttons over are basically your trigger buttons that you don't really use for the old Mortal Kombat. Like, say if I was playing Mortal Kombat 9 or X or 11, that's where those extra ones would more come into it.
Okay. Cool.
But for playing Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, those red buttons simply aren't required.
I love that.
So I just started using that, and I love it. I absolutely love this stick. I've done modifications to the actual Sanwa joystick to make it more firmer and not loosey-goosey.
Nice.
I took the standard 1 pound. I took the standard 1 pound spring out of it and put a 4 pound spring in there. So I've literally, I've made it a much firmer stick. So you got to really sort of tell it where you want it to go, as opposed to just breathing on it and having it move.
Yeah,
I felt it stick. It's really firm. It's stick. It's
yeah.
Wow.
I'm getting a bit of the stick just hearing you talk about it, mate.
But then
Dude, well done. That's
only
amazing.
yeah, but then only recently, very recently, I was very fortunate that Buzz was able to make a purchase of a couple of these from someone at the Gold Coast for a good price, and he was able to pass that deal on to myself, and so now I've got both on the go at the moment.
Awesome,
yeah, John, I gave you the one that I threw when I was playing with you.
Dude, it's good to have a backup because you never know when
Well, that's it. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, and once all the craziness is over and we can actually have people at our houses again, I'd love to have people come over to my house and sit down and play some Mortal Kombat in front of a TV, and I got 2 fight sticks ready to go.
That's perfect, man. I'm keen for that.
Yeah, that's why I'm more than happy to have 2 of them. So
Dude, that's so good. Thanks for like showing us that, man.
No, pleasure.
Awesome. Well, I might lead us into you told me earlier when we had a little test run that you're allowed to announce 4 games from the Super Ultimate Punch, which is coming up when they organize it properly because of all this, what's going on.
Oh, shit.
Bit of
how's everyone
going to announce it via impressions.
So how's everyone actually coping with like the loss of BPAC 2020?
It's not great, but at least next year or whenever they can do it, then we can still attend.
Yeah.
So BPAC, to anyone listening, is the Brisbane Pinball and Arcade Collective.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's like a yearly now. Like last year we had the first one, but it's a yearly tournament of pinball and arcade tournaments, from the Kong Off to the Ultimate Punch fighting games to all these different pinball tournaments, and it's just awesome. So this year it's been cancelled, and we don't know when it will happen as of now, but hopefully maybe later in the year or next year.
Yeah, I think because I was listening to the Game the System podcast.
Oh yes,
which big props to Game the System, because they were actually like sponsoring. They were the main sponsor of the Super Ultimate Punch for this year's BPAC.
Yeah, good on them, That's awesome.
But I think like Jimmy was talking about, like they got to work because it's been held at Newstead Brewing Co., which is an absolute amazing venue, man. I painted that place, dude.
Oh, awesome!
Painted it. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Cool.
I'll make sure to point out what you missed when we end up there.
Yeah. If all the power cut short, that's my fault. But,
it must be the painter's fault.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't just painting it. I was like doing other stuff, like ripping out old office boards and knocking walls. It was such a cool place. Like, and the owner of Newstead Brewing Co., he was such a nice dude, man. Like, I was there for 3 weeks, and then on top of our paycheck, he'd literally give us like a carton of beer on top of it. It was sick, man.
What a ledge. That's Australian.
And plus, free lunches, and like I'd like be free beers, free lunches, and I'd just be like playing like fucking. They had Street Fighter Rainbow Edition.
Yeah, so fun.
Rainbow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that Rainbow Edition of Street Fighter, where like you can be like E-Honda and do the 100 hand slap and just like blast out like Hadoukens while you're doing it.
Oh my! So it's a good hacked version.
Yeah.
The hack.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's crazy fun. It's nuts. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've only played that once. I think it was up on at Kerry's, because he had it on the Pandora box arcade machine. It was one of the many games in there, and I played around with it with Duncan, and both of us just looked at each other like, what the hell is this? This is just stupid.
That's so cool.
Where was this at? Jerry's?
Kerry's, mate. Bundy. Kerry's at Bundy, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I got to get back on track, boys. So I think we're getting pretty far into it now.
Yeah.
Can you either let us know what the 4 games for Super Ultimate Punch will be when it does happen, or do an impression and we'll guess it?
I think the impression would be fun.
Yeah, so I think so too.
But we got to be able to see you, Buzz.
I'll I'll try my best. Yeah.
Well, so who knows?
see
Who
if,
knows the 4 games at the moment? Because I don't know them. Is it
I
Buzz,
can't.
John, and Peter?
I'll be honest.
No one knows any of them.
No.
There's only one man that knows, and that's yeah. I'll leave that to your own imagination.
Okay. But I thought John, you said
me.
you know 4 of the games that are you're allowed to release 4 of them.
No, I think if I did, I've very much forgotten them. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually looking forward to this impersonation thing. I want to try and guess.
Oh,
I have
dude,
no idea.
I don't know them either.
John had theories.
Oh, I
John
thought
had theories, but all right.
Maybe I'm wrong. Do you know them, Buzz? No.
Well, apparently it was like Super Ultimate Punch was about like 7 fighters. It was over 7 fighter games.
Yeah.
So I guess the only 4 that I know, but I don't even know what the title, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or whatever. I just got like 4 names. So.
Okay. Do you want to give us an impression and we'll guess? Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and make it as like complex as ever.
Please do.
The first one, let's do what are we gonna do? Mickey Bubble Bang!
Whoa! Oh, I got.
Well, I'm assuming that's Raiden.
Yeah, that would have been my closest guess, but it didn't. To me, it didn't sound like Raiden that much.
It sound like a Japanese porno or something?
A little bit, yeah.
I'll make it a bit easier. Get over here!
Ah,
okay. There
Mortal
we go.
Kombat.
Yeah.
Next
one, sir.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's 1.
And then the second one, let's try. Oi!
Street Fighter.
Sam Show.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wait, was it? Which one?
It was Street Fighter, but I don't know which one.
Oh, that was Honda, right? Oi! Or is that?
Yeah, it was Honda. Yeah.
Oi!
Oi! Oi!
I hate Honda. Fat bar.
It's gonna get a bit harder from here, so I guess
Yeah, that was the easy ones.
I never knew I could have.
What the hell?
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, you got to do that again.
I'll try something a bit easier. I win.
Oh.
Well,
He's an Australian character in the game.
Oh, Big Bear? Is the character Big Bear?
No, it's not Big Bear. It's Bad and Fury. I wish it was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, jeez, I don't know.
Australian character.
Oh, what else should I say? Just say I'll do something else. I'll do another question about that. It's like, put your moon boots on because you're in for a ride.
Oh. No, I got nothing.
Gravity means nothing in this game.
Gravity.
Oh, Virtual Fighter. Virtual Fighter.
Yes.
Oh, Virtual Fighter. Okay.
So we got Combat. Don't know if it's 1, 2, or 3. Street Fighter, who knows? And then Virtual Fighter, good guess.
Nice.
And then the third one's going to be a bit difficult, I guess.
Fourth one, right?
Fourth one, mate. Fourth one. Come on, stay with us.
Oh, the fourth.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had a few beers. That's all right.
Oh, Tekken.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tekken. Okay.
Tekken.
To me, that sounds like Blanca.
Yeah, it sounds like a blanket.
It did sound like Blanca, didn't it?
Yeah, that was a good Blanca, man.
I was trying to be king.
It was either Blanca or Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I was literally about to say Donkey Kong's not a fighter.
Yeah. That sounded like Donkey Kong from Mario Kart 64.
Yeah. Shit.
When he spins
we
out.
got
Yeah, man.
a Mortal Kombat title, a Street Fighter title, Virtua Fighter, and Tekken.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
not
it. Heavy
sure
hitters.
which version of Tekken,
Mm.
but
I
Tekken
don't know how
arcade
many
is
people
really
are going
fun.
to actually be excited about having Virtual Fighter in there.
Mm.
Just to see
Personally,
Yeah.
I think it's horrible. That's just me.
Fair enough.
It's actually very competitive in Japan, man.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
Very cool.
Okay.
Well, I think
Just don't jump and you'll be right.
Yeah.
I think we're almost at the end. I do want to hear about
Yeah.
this Mega Drive sale that you went through, Buzz. But just quickly before that, if anyone has anything within reach that they want to show off to do with fighting games, do that. I'm gonna go first. This is my. Okay, I think I've got it wrong. There we go. So this is my custom Street Fighter Air Force One sneakers that I got made in LA by this like custom sneaker shop.
Beautiful.
So
that's beautiful.
They sold me the shoes. You can see the gum, like the sole, I guess, is starting to yellow, which I might paint white. But I think I got these about 10 years ago, and like, I just told them what I wanted. And so if anyone who's just listening, it's Ryu on one shoe throwing a Hadouken, Ken on the other shoe throwing a Hadouken, and they're Air Force One mids, and that has the Street Fighter logo on both, like towards the toe a bit more. And yeah, I really like these.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, they're nice, man.
Do you ever wear them?
I have worn them a couple times, and if there's any fighting tournaments coming up, I'll wear them to that.
Yes.
Please do.
And yeah, I do. I think, shoes are meant to be worn, but I do try to make sure they're still in like mint condition, so I still try to keep them like that. Yeah, so that's my show and tell. Who's next?
Nice. What you got, Mike?
Oh, flop it out, Mike.
Mike's going to have too many things to choose from. He'll be there for an hour picking something.
So my most favourite thing in the whole collection is definitely Mortal Kombat 3. on the PS1, yeah.
Ooh, signed by Steve Ritchie.
Steve Ritchie signed?
Yeah.
Steve Ritchie, the voice of Shao Kahn, and who else?
Just Shao Kahn.
Just Shao Kahn, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, you play Mortal Kombat 2, for example, or 3 as well. God, you hear his voice so much.
But it's actually quite disheveling meeting the voice of Shao Kahn, and then his first words are, "Can anyone get me some prune juice in this town of Brisbane?"
Yes. Yeah, that was the first thing he asked me when I met him and shook his hand.
Wow. Shao Kahn, man.
Yeah, the poor guy just needed prune juice so badly, and I couldn't help him. I felt horrible.
Oh, no wonder Shao Kahn's so grumpy, man.
Yeah. But no, actually, considering Mike, he made a point of showing that with Steve Ritchie's signature, I might as well just jump straight to me, because on the same day, or around that same time, with the B-Pack and Steve Ritchie was there, the poster that you can see behind me there, I had him sign that just under the Shao Kahn's face. I got him to sign that. I took this hat with me, and I got him to sign his name across the top there. Kirsty, my wife, was kind enough to sew this patch on, the B-Pack patch.
Oh, wow.
onto this Kmart hat that I purchased.
Great hat.
Yeah, John, don't bother about the sentimental shit. You ripped that poster off the back of the wall, didn't you, mate? That fucking B-Pack.
Oh, of course I did, mate. Of course I did. I wasn't going to spend $10 on a poster, mate, but I wanted his signature, right or wrong.
Yeah, dude. Steve
Ritchie. Apart from that,
what a legend.
But no, other than that, my prized possession that I've had since I was in grade 7.
I'm excited.
Right, I purchased this brand new from a convenience store at Donnybrook, and it was 1995, the June, July, and basically it's the Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition comic book. And
dude,
when I was in grade, grade 7 at primary school, this was in my backpack so much, taking it to school, reading it with my mate who was another huge Mortal Kombat fan, which is why it's in horrible condition. I mean, it lived in my backpack going to and from
it
school.
looks really good on the camera, so maybe in person it's...
when you really look at it up, you can, the spine is all sort of
you need a bag and board that bad boy, plastic sleeve.
And I took this with me to the B-Pack naturally, and I got Steve Ritchie to put his signature on the dragon.
Oh, that looks hot.
Page.
Wow, so anyone who's listening, that says Steve Ritchie's signature, who is the voice of Shao Kahn, plus he's designed like a bunch of pinball machines, including I think Terminator 2. I could be wrong there, but I think that's right. And the signature looks awesome, and it's on an amazing like Mortal Kombat classic logo with a stormy sky in the background with a lightning bolt coming down the middle. Man, it can't get better than that. Holy crap! Hopefully man.
And do you know what's even better? Do you know what? One of the things I love about this comic is not only has it got all that beautiful Mortal Kombat stuff that we love, especially from Mortal Kombat 2, because it's got all the Mortal Kombat 2 characters in there, but it's got another thing from my childhood that was a huge part of it.
X-Files!
Oh,
Yeah. Dude,
Awesome.
honestly, the best form of like old advertising is found in comic books, I think, because they put the other cool nerdy stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's great. Well, I think that's that was awesome, John. I don't know if we can top that, but Peter, do you have something you would like to show us? I see a trophy there, but maybe you have anything.
Oh,
It's only a 10-foot trophy.
I'll try and get.
Oh, dude, that was in the background. I thought that was like right next to you. It was so big.
Yeah, Pete's not real sentimental. He's just all about fucking kicking ass. So
wow, so
just in the frame. It's quite big.
Pete's got a trophy that's like half the size of his whole body, and that was for winning Ultimate Punch at Netherworld, wasn't it? The first Ultimate Punch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow, that's an epic. That's like if you won like I don't know some F1 race, like that's that kind of trophy.
Yeah, it's a huge trophy.
Dude,
and
well done.
That Ultimate Punch tournament was so much fun. It was such a great tournament.
It was.
We all had a blast with that one.
Well done.
But you done pretty well, Sean. I think you came like fourth, didn't you, Sean?
I think I was in the top 10 at least. I don't know, maybe not fourth, but I remember getting knocked out or at least destroyed by Peter. So
can we talk about Johnny Bond versus John Tannehill match? That was
oh, was that them both on Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
And they both don't really play it, hey?
It was more Johnny Bond. He's like, how do I block? Just jumping up, just kept jumping, and then all of a sudden in the second round he learns up and jumping a kick will do an anti-air and just like fucking.
And he just spams it, yeah. That's all you need if you're playing against someone who doesn't. You just need to know one thing, and if they know nothing, then you're fine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they both knew nothing. So we ended up in a situation where two guys are matching off on Mortal Kombat 2, and I'm pretty sure 90% of the Netherworld crew that were there were just in fits laughing watching these guys play.
I remember that.
So great.
That was good, man.
It's great that all these boys come out to these like fighting game tournaments, man. Like it means the world to us, man. We're trying to get it out. So
yeah, for sure. I'm keen as support it. I want to get back into it more. Like I've been a bit slacker the last few years with fighting game stuff because like there's so much other stuff going on with gaming tournaments, which is obviously a great problem to have if you've got too many game tournaments to go to.
I'm pretty sure, Sean, you won one of our monthly fight club.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, that was cool. That was fun.
In the words of Mr. Burns, I owe you a Coke.
I look forward to that. Sweet. Well, did you have any cool like paraphernalia?
Yeah, I'm in the garage, so a lot of it is. Oh, not a lot. What have I got? Hang on, give us a dig around.
Give us a dig around. That's the best.
He does actually have. He has something pretty damn cool, and I'm hoping you're going to show it. Please tell me you haven't packed away, Raiden.
Yes.
What, the duct tape.
Oh.
So what you see there, fellas, is the exact same fight stick that I've got sitting behind me, except that one is held together with duct tape.
Why?
Okay.
It made me the man who I was, put it that way.
Oh, okay.
Rage. Mortal Kombat Rage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will take
this.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a Rage duct tape? Like.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
but
great.
it's actually, they're a real sturdy stick, man. Like, literally, you can throw the shit out of it, and like the mechanics work like a dream. Like.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they are built
that's
very
the same
solid.
stick
It's
I
like,
had, man.
Yeah. It's like 16 mil MDF. It's huge. It's thick as hell.
Wow. Where did you get that?
I got the original box that you gave me, man, which was pretty sick.
Dude.
I own that.
So that's the box I mentioned earlier. That's what came. So you imagine if they show us the top of that, Buzz. Imagine if they wanted to inspect that. That's what they would have.
Oh.
If there was no hiding that was Mortal Kombat. Like that's the very first thing I saw.
That's sick, man. I can't believe you just gave that to me for like a 6-pack of beer.
Dude, I didn't. Yeah, and that was like you insisted on the beer. I was like, man, it's just a box. You can have it, man. It needs a good home. That's so cool. You've got the full set now, like the joystick and the box.
Oh god, there's so much shit here. And
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
I got the box.
Dude, the Mortal. So that's a big Raiden figurine.
That was the box that the trophy for the Palace Arcade Mortal Kombat 2 tournament came in. The box.
So you've got that big Raiden set up somewhere?
Yeah, it's in the cupboard. Yeah, I can't go in there.
In the cupboard? That's not cool.
That's not cool.
Literally, like after the tournament, I got him back home, packed him in the bag, and then his fucking hand was snapped off and shit. Oh, man.
Oh, bro. Rough.
But that was actually a good tournament. That was like one of the funnest tournaments I've ever been to. Was that place? It was so cool, man. And like, shout out to Craig Walker if he's listening or if he's gonna watch it.
Nice.
He was like a beast in Street Fighter. Absolute beast.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks for showing us all that stuff, guys. I think I might have to wrap it up here. Number one, because I really need to take a whiz. Number two, because I think we've gone for long enough for sure, and I'll cut it down if I need to, and I'll get it up there soon. But yeah, thanks for joining us again, John, Peter, Mike, and Buzz, and had a blast, boys. Thanks heaps. We'll do another one of these because I know there's way more stories to get into, including that Mega Drive story, Buzz. I think we just don't have time for it at the moment. Sorry, man.
I'll quickly do it in like 10 seconds.
All right, let's go.
Went to a place in Balimba, sold a Mega Drive to a guy in Balimba. There was like a commune of like out of work, like hospitality workers that were like building like synthesizers with old consoles, and that was it. None of them were wearing shoes, so that was it.
None of them were what?
Wearing shoes.
Oh, right. So like a little bit of a hippie commune. Dude, that's cool.
Yeah, in like
that sounds like
Balimba.
I might move in there, man. That sounds all right. Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sweet.
I was a little bit like paranoid about giving it over because I'm like, what are you going to do with it? Turn it into like a synthesizer, but that's it. That's the story. Man.
Awesome. Oh, thanks, Buzz. Sweet. All right. Well, thanks for joining in, guys.
I'll take you there one day.
Please do. Sweet as. All right, boys. You guys have a good night, and thanks for listening, everyone. And love you very much. And let's peace out from Play It Up.
All right, guys. Cheers, Sean. Great part of it, mate.
Not a problem, boys.